I know exactly what they want. I know exactly what they want. Just be patient. My name is my name, power and glory, I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name, you go to war with me. We move the same, you think that it's for me. Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me, y'all keep the fame. I want the glory, been that nigga, bitches never ignored me. Rich in spirit, little bitch can't afford me. Day one static, fix it with a 4G, red beam on it. You think I'm recording, kick in front doors, you try to backdoor me. We are not a gang, bitch, we an army. Book a den, you know I don't tell stories. Keep it 100 in the lightning. You niggas fake baby K name Adonis. Mini Drake clip curl, but somehow I can shoot it straight. Insta clip, I can shoot for a minute straight. Turn this to the Super Bowl if I need to. I can hit your chief up with an eagle. Set you up on the score, but they lied to you. Why you letting them niggas mislead you? My name is my name, power and glory. I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name. You go to war with me. We move the same. You think that it's for me? Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. My name is my name, power and glory. I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name. You go to war with me. We move the same. You think that it's for me? Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. You won't see it coming. I move like a crook, a thief in the night. So watch what you put. My aim precise. These bullets 12 inches long. A block away, I could take off the foot. Don't ask me no questions if you know my stance. Bitch, I'm the man, so thanks in advance. They mean a rifle on top of a tripod. If they ever tell you I was taking a stand, they got run up on me, but I'm way too advanced. Spinning with choppers, turn you into a fan. Can show you the steps, but won't hold your hands. They thought they could stop me, it ain't go as planned. How I get this far? Cause I took a chance. Really got ranked, keeping it a band. This ain't what you think, better think again. This ain't what you think, you better think again. My name is my name, power and glory. I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name. You go to war with me. We move the same. You think that it's for me? Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. My name is my name, power and glory. I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name. You go to war with me. We move the same. You think that it's for me? Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. With the war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all. Y'all created this monster. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all. Y'all created this monster. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all. Y'all created this monster. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all. Y'all created this monster.
It's easy to sum it up when you just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game. We're talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? And we're talking about practice.
Black Road.
Best believe that I'm top 3. The only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Put me anywhere other than one that is not me. It's beef, we strut a nigga block, that's chopped cheese. No peace, the butterfly sting him, that's Ali. You reach, I teach him with the handle, that's Kyrie. Machines you hook like a Roman, that's IV. You a sheep, I'ma go, it's a difference, so watch me. You weak, all hooks, no punches, so block these. They mock me, I just show them how it goes. Try to stomach this thug life. They ring got the nose, bandana on the grip. All heads coming out the foe. Connected from Cali to New York, niggas, so let it go. Made for this. Nigga, I eat bars and drink flows, thinking you woke until your third eye a peephole. Line for line, this shit too easy. It's like a free throw. Mastered the game too early. This bitch a cheat code. It ain't a game. These niggas lame. State bring a shame. If I'm with an officer, it's a number in his name. We ain't the same. You want the easy pass? Tell him change his lane. Shit, I've been through the fire. You can't stand the rain. Take an aim. Tell him runner he can try his best. Drive a car named after me. That's why I'm in the vet. Lamping these niggas once again, and I ain't break a sweat. Number one at everything I do. That's why I'm one west. The Lord is not the God of the dead, so when I die, coming back for my spot, so forever I'm top 3. Just tell him to watch this janitor with the mop stick. You gonna need a defensive lineman to block this. On point when I bomb shit, 10 for 10 I do not miss. I'm barking with a full bulldog, it is not mixed. They can see that my mind's sick. I don't write, I find shit. I don't like it, then I switch. If I touch it, it's diamond. Tell a bitch that I'm God sent. It ain't because my kicks is built like 5'6", 5'7" is my bitch. Dangerous high risk. I lose it, get another one. You think I'm talking about a girl? I'm talking about another gun. Head now? Hey, look, it is what it is now. We don't fuck with the house niggas. We burn the crib now. I'm ahead now. And I hope they can hear now. I don't care if you think it's it, nigga. I don't fear clown. Silences make it sound like raindrop. That's a quiet storm. Get the job done in the view and get fired on. If you niggas standing for nothing, what you dying for? If you put real with real, that's how I was born. Walking this bitch ready for war. I'm in riot form. I want these niggas to see me flex. That's why I am armed. I shouldn't live in the crib, nigga. I should buy a farm to go through this shit so ever. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3.
Brotherhood and sisterhood is a weapon. Brotherhood and sisterhood is the weapon we're going to need to get so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians out of this hell. So-called this brotherhood is what we're going. Brother and sisterhood is what we're going to need to get away from our oppressor, to get out of all of his ideas, to get out of all of his customs, to get out of all of his philosophies. How many people that were celebrating Juneteenth is out popping fireworks today? Okay, because he doesn't want you to ever leave his customs and leave his traditions, because he never wants you to stop being a slave. You see, all of our traditions and customs, we do. I mean, we don't keep, okay, but we keep everybody else's customs. We keep St. Patty's Day, we keep Christmas, we keep the 4th of July. And that's because we are still slaves. That's because we have the slave mentality. And that is the problem. Okay? We have a slave mentality, and we don't respect our own customs. We don't respect the Feast of First Fruits, the Feast of Purim, the Passover. We don't know anything about that. But we know everything about 4th of July and popping fireworks until your damn hands blown off. Okay? Celebrating somebody else's customs, somebody else's traditions, celebrating your oppressors' customs and traditions. The same people that unalive you. Okay? Y'all was just a few years ago, y'all was just marching. And then y'all was lighting up your barbecue grill on that 4th of July. Okay? So tonight we're going to get a little bit of understanding. I got a few articles. So we probably going to jump right into the article. Young man. Young man, can you hear me? me see what's going on. Young man. Maybe I'm not up. Can y'all hear me? In the chat, put a 1 if you can hear me. Let's see. Can you hear me? Let's see. Let me see if I can be heard. Let's see if I can be heard. All right, I definitely can. All right. No sweat. All right, I definitely can. All right. Hey, turn your thing up. Let me see. Yaganan, can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Adamon?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. You just dark, but
I don't know. I can't see myself.
yeah, you're not on the screen. You might want to drop out and come back in.
Drop in.
Okay.
Yeah, so tonight we're going to talk about 4th of July. We're going to talk about how to separate from your oppressors, from their customs, and from their ways. Okay? Because that's important. Can you hear me now, young man? Can you hear anything that I'm saying? Okay. We're going to get into these articles. The first article I want you to get is that July 4th and the early blacks that I sent you.
We're
going to start right. Yeah, let me share my screen. And yeah, we're going to start from the top, Warrior. All right, you got it.
July 4th and early Black Americans is complicated.
Mm-hmm.
On July 15th, 1776, the signing of the Declaration of Independence was front page news in the New York Gazette and Weekly Mercury. The newspaper ran the text in full and reported the Declaration had been read to the Continental Army's New York Regiment, led by General George Washington. The paper also featured 2 freedom notices of a different sort. One offered a reward for a 21-year-old black man named Prince, who had escaped his enslavers and was supposed to have gone towards Rye, New York, or entered the army. The other featured 2 brothers, Nathaniel and Jacob, who had escaped from separate enslavers near Long Island, New York. Derek R. Spires, Associate Professor of Literatures and English in the College of Arts and Sciences, imagined those men hearing the Declaration read somewhere in New York and knowing that it did not apply to them.
Stop right there. Hold on, stop right there. So these young men, they knew as being a so-called Negro that what was being read doesn't apply to them. Just like what's being read today doesn't apply to you. Okay? When they're talking about great things for their nation, when they're talking about wonderful things for America, it doesn't apply to you. When they're talking about better schools, that doesn't apply to you. They're not putting the better schools in the ghetto. Them better schools ain't coming to the ghetto. Okay? They're not coming to your neighborhoods. Better food for children. You understand that that's not coming to your neighborhoods at all. So these men, they knew what they heard. It didn't apply to them. Just like when you hear anything great for America, you understand that it doesn't apply to you. Not if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. It applies to your oppressors and the other heathens. Okay? They make laws for these other heathens for their safety, for their rest. Okay? They don't do that for you. So understand, when you hear something read and it's supposed to be so great, understand that it doesn't have anything to do with you. Okay, that is for your oppressor and his demographic. Continue reading.
Colonel Khan. Black Americans were in a position where they believed in the principles of the Declaration and the American Revolution itself, says Spires, an award-winning expert in early of African American and American in print culture, citizenship studies, and African American intellectual history. And yet many of them were enslaved or formerly enslaved. From the perspective, and maybe even today, there were better days to celebrate.
All right, stop there. And you see where it says the Black Americans were in position where they believed in the principles of the Declaration of the American Revolution. It's like, and that's how we are as a people. We believe Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because they're Democrats. And if you're black, you have to be a Democrat, or else you're a traitor. Well, I'll let you know that if you vote at all for any of these people, all right, if you vote for anybody but Christ, then if you vote for the left or the right wing, then you are a part of the problem, okay? Because we believe in their principles, all right? And we need to stop believing in their principles and start believing in these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what we need to hang our hats on. That's where we need to place our values, okay, on these laws, statutes, and commandments. Not Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris, who had all the sisters wearing the Converse because she's so black. Okay, continue reading.
Colonel Khan. Black people in the early years of the United States had a complicated relationship to the 4th of July holiday. Spire says, confronting a national doublespeak in which white Americans celebrated their freedom of political expression while supporting the enslavement of black people.
Stop there. You see, because this has nothing to do with you. This Independence Day has absolutely nothing to do with your independence. That's why they were for their independence from Britain, but they were also for enslaving you. Okay, they wanted the enslavement. They were highly supportive of it. Okay, continue.
Khan. If you're in the Washington household, you're in slavery as the general of the Continental Army, Spire says. Or if you're in Madison's or Jefferson's household, your enslaver is penning the Declaration of Independence.
You're what?
Say it again.
I said, read that part again. Your enslaver is doing what?
Your enslaver is penning the Declaration of Independence.
This is why you are barbecuing today. This is why you got a shirt on that says beer, barbecue, and freedom. This is why you got ribs on the grill and an M80 in your damn hand today. Okay? Because if you was a part of the Madison household, your enslaver was penning the Declaration of Independence. He was penning his freedom while he was making you a slave. Continue reading, young man.
Colonel Khan. The Declaration of Independence, and maybe you're bringing him a glass of water when he's in Virginia.
Good night, and maybe you're just being a good damn slave, bringing him a glass of water or a glass of milk, whatever the hell those heathens drink. Continue.
Running through some of those drafts. Black communities in the 1700s and 1800s used national holidays like the 4th of July as an opportunity to as an opportunity to demonstrate their citizenship, patriotism.
Hold on, stop there. Do you see how we try to partake? It says black communities in the 17 and 1800s use national holidays like the 4th of July as an opportunity to demonstrate their citizenship. And that's why you celebrate every damn thing, because you're trying to demonstrate that we're like you. We want to be a part of this just like you're a part of this. So we're going to celebrate your 4th of July and your Thanksgiving and your St. Patty's Day and your Valentine's Day and your New Year's. We're going to partake in all that so you can see that we adore this citizenship. We want to be a part of this. When this is all wicked, okay? Celebrating any of their holidays is wicked. Continue reading, young man.
Khan. Patriotism and civic organizations.
Uh-huh.
to show they were fully part of the fabric of the United States.
Because that's all we want to be. That's all we want to be as a part of the fabric. We just want it to be considered American. We just want to be proud Americans too and love our country. But you need to understand that America does not love you, and this is not your damn country. Continue reading.
Kanal Khan. Spire says, but black communities would often celebrate July 4th on July 5th. Spire says to avoid the violence they experienced when they celebrated the holiday on the same day on the same streets as white Americans.
You see that? Because they don't want you to celebrate that. That's why they say, no, the 4th is ours. You niggas go out there on the 5th while we're hung over and half unalived in our bed with our head in a bucket. Okay? We don't want you to celebrate when we celebrate. Okay? So to avoid the violence they experienced when they celebrated on the same day in the same streets, they did it the day after, even though they want to be part of the fabric of the United States. Well, they'll just let you know that you can never be a part of the fabric of the United States. Okay? Continue reading.
Kanal Khan. They also begin celebrating the idea of independence on other days, Spire says. In 1808, black people in the U.S. began celebrating January 1st when the U.S. banned the transatlantic slave trade. Black New Yorkers used July 5th to mark the day New York's gradual emancipation law took effect in 1827. Similarly, August 1st also became a holiday in 1834 when Great Britain abolished enslavement. Those dates might not supersede July 4th, he says, but in terms of national notions of independence, they're just as important and don't carry the same kind of baggage. The downside was that those displays of patriotism were often met with violence, Spire says. For example,
Hold on. Hold on. It's met with violence because that's how they deal with us. They deal with us very violently. They deal with us very harshly because they don't have no love and care. And they still, till today, they deal with us harshly and without any care and without any love for our nation, any love for the people that they enslaved. They have absolutely no compassion, no empathy. All right, continue reading.
Kanal Khan. For example, in 1841, black communities held parades in Cincinnati to celebrate the West Indies emancipation, and they were met with white mob violence.
They were met with what?
White mob violence.
Because how dare you? How dare you come out here in these streets of Cincinnati and celebrate any damn thing? Celebrate any little victory that you think that you've won. No, you will be met with a mob. They will let you know through violence exactly how they feel about you. Continue reading.
Colonel Khan. The Cincinnati riot was likely the most violent mob action against a free black community before the Civil War.
Because that's how they do. It says the most violent mob action. Okay? Against the free black community. Like they have absolutely no love for you. And you want to give all your love to them and celebrate 4th of July and barbecue short ribs, okay? And whatever else the hell you're doing 4th of July. Pop your fireworks and be a part of the fabric of America. When you being a part of the fabric of America, you get met by white mobs, it says. Continue reading.
Colonel Khan. A similar scene played out in Philadelphia the next year. In Boston in the 1850s, black people advocated for a state-recognized militia company. When they mustered and paraded across the city of Boston in the fall of 1857, white mobs attacked attendees with bricks, prompting the militia to turn and protect their black fellow citizens.
Continue.
This is the sort of thing that would happen across the country, Spire says. Throughout the 1800s, black Americans used the July 4th to argue for emancipation and full citizenship, making the case that black citizens, free and enslaved, had as much right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as white people. On July 5th, 1852, Frederick Douglass, by then a well-established activist and abolitionist, was invited by the Rochester Ladies Anti-Slavery Society to give a 4th of July lecture. He titled, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July?" At Rochester, New York. Douglas Spire says, starts with some sugar. He praises George Washington, James Madison, and their colleagues, saying they set into motion a worldwide revolution and calling the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence sacred document. And then he makes a turn. Then he makes a turn, Spire says, and he says essentially, you have been getting by on your own forefathers' legacy. Douglas said to the existence of enslavement in the United States, brands your republicanism as a sham, your humanity as a base pretense, and your Christianity as a lie.
Your what?
And your Christianity as a lie.
Christianity is a lie. And you know what else is a lie? That Frederick Douglass is one of us. He is not. His daddy was a slave owner, and his mother was a slave. But this is what everybody needs to know, is that your Christianity is a lie. Your pastor telling you it's okay to go out there and barbecue them pork ribs, okay? Oh, they're going to be so tender and falling off the bone, and he's just going to be a big smile on his face while he's just going against the Most High. Okay, continue reading.
Khan. He's saying that the day of a supposed celebration should actually be a day of national mourning because the nation's promise has fallen short, Spire says. It should not be a day of covering up with symbols and celebrations of revolution fought and won because it's not done yet.
Yeah, he said it's not done yet because we were enslaved, okay? Considered 3/5 of a man in horrible conditions, not free. While they're signing for their freedom, that had absolutely nothing to do with you. Continue reading.
Khan. That is why Black Americans have also celebrated other days historically, including Juneteenth. Spire says, and why his own relationship with the 4th of July is vexed. Quoting, I can't celebrate it without some irony, especially now, he says, end quote. As Black activist Martin R. Delaney would say, true patriotism and love of country requires critique. At the same time, I have really great memories of shooting fireworks with my uncles and having barbecues, he says. This is home, so it's complicated.
You see, it's complicated because we have memories celebrating theirs. He said this is why Black America, hold on. Where does it say?
That's up.
I'm looking for where, I can't celebrate it without some irony. How come you can't just not celebrate it? Because you so deep into it, because it's been rooted into you into a child, because he has memories popping fireworks with his uncle and his family and having a good old time, eating swine, okay? So he doesn't want to let it go. That's why he says, I'm going to celebrate it, but I'm going to have some irony, when he could just stop celebrating it. Because the Lord does not respect your 4th of July at all. Trooper Yaganan, give me Amos 5:21.
Come.
And hold on, let me share my screen and let me get there. Let me get there with you. All right.
Come. It's the book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 21. I despise your feast days.
What?
I despise your feast days.
You see, the Lord said that he hates your feast days. Okay? The Lord hates your feast days. What are your feast days? Your feast days are any feast days that you celebrating that's not in the Bible. 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve. None of these things that you do are biblical. None of these things have anything to do with the Most High. Continue reading.
And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
And he's not going to smell in your solemn assemblies. You know how you love to cook that meat and let that smoke go all the way up. That smoke's just going all the way up to the sky. You think that smoke is going to Jesus. You think that smoke is going to the Most High, and the Lord's looking at you like, oh, that brother cooked that pig today. He's not. He doesn't smell your solemn assemblies, okay? He hates and he despises your feast days. Continue reading.
Verse 22. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings.
You see, you offering these meat, because what you going to do? Before y'all eat, what y'all going to do? Y'all going to hold hands in a big circle and say a prayer. You're going to pray around this food that the Lord has not ordained. So it says, though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offering. Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to say, this is of God, because you believed he helped you buy it. Oh man, thank you, Lord, for blessing us with this good food. And it's not good food. You having pork and catfish and all kind of manner of disgusting beasts. Continue.
I will not accept them.
Mm-hmm.
Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beast.
See, he's not going to accept your meat offerings. Neither will we regard your peace offering of the fat of your beast. See, we love to do that because this is about freedom today. So you want to offer up this meat and pray to the Lord in freedom. Just like Thanksgiving, you want to offer up that turkey to the Lord. But the turkey, he's not smelling your solemn assemblies. He's not accepting your meat offerings. Continue reading.
Verse 23. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs.
Mm-hmm.
For I will not hear the melody of thy voice.
He's not hearing your singing and your praising and all your damn happiness for going against his laws, going against everything that he put out there for us. Okay? The Lord's not going to respect that. He doesn't want to hear your songs. He don't want y'all to come together and be singing. Okay? Because he doesn't respect what you're singing about. Continue reading.
Verse 24. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
You see, water is very powerful. That's why it says, let judgment come down as water, and righteousness is a mighty stream. Okay? We need to be judged. Okay? We need that. We need that so we can get up out of these philosophies, get up out of this nonsense that we are just so stuck and trapped in. Give me Revelations 18:3.
Come. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wrath of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Uh-huh.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
You see, and that's what's happening. Because, all these nations are drinking the wine of the wrath of fornication from America. And the kings of the earth, they fornicate with America. All these other nations. All right? That's what they do. They come here and they take part in keeping you at the bottom. All right? Continue reading.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
You see, and they have waxed rich. They have waxed rich through her philosophies, through her ways, through her delicacy, through her slaves. Okay? That's why in your neighborhood, everybody owns everything else. You get your food, clothes, and water from everybody else. Okay? You got to get your gas from another nation. Okay, you get your food from another nation. You get your clothes from another nation. Continue reading.
Book of Revelation, chapter 18, and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her,
To do
my
what?
people. Come out of her, my people.
Yeah, come out of her, my people. That's what we need to do. The Lord is telling us to come up out of her. That doesn't mean go move somewhere. Y'all, it's a lot of people think that means, we need to go move to Africa or go move here and move there. No, we need to come up out of her, come up out of her philosophies, come up out of her ways, come up out of her holidays, come up out of her out of her train of thought. Okay? Out of her customs. We need to leave America mentally. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we need to mentally escape America because we are drowned in her customs. We are drowned in her ways, as so much that we love it, as so much that if somebody doesn't celebrate it with you, you are angry at them, not knowing that it's all wickedness and it was never meant for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The Lord never meant that for us. Continue reading.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
You don't partake in the 4th of July. Okay? You don't want to be partakers of her sin because continue.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
Receive not her plagues, her diseases, her hypertensions, her diabetes, her gout. Okay? That's what we need to do. We need to not be partakers of her sins, so we receive not her plagues. Okay? Because if you sitting with somebody doing the same thing, well, the same thing is going to happen to you. That's going to happen to them. You know, most of the time, the person who's with you get hurt, not you. Continue reading.
Verse 5. For her sins have reached into heaven. And God hath remembered her iniquities.
You see, them sins, they have reached unto heaven. And God remembers her iniquities. God remembers what she did to the children of the slave. Okay? The Most High, he remembers that 100% and wholeheartedly. So since he remembers that, what do we need to do? We need to remember. We need to come up out of her ways. We need to remember everything that has happened to us, everything that has happened to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right? And we should never forget. Just like they say to never forget, we shall never forget. All right? Yagana, what did I send you? The Great Slave Auction? Let's go ahead and get that.
The Great Slave Auction.
Mm-hmm.
The Great Slave Auction, also called the Weeping Tom, was an auction of enslaved Africans.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let me see what's. Let me stop that. Let me share this one because I shared the wrong thing. All right, there we go. All right, go ahead.
The Great Slave Auction, also called the Weeping Tom, was an auction of enslaved Africans held at.
And when y'all see Africans, understand these is talking about Israelites. Okay, continue reading.
Held at 10 Bruac Race Course near Savannah, Georgia, United States, on March 2nd and 3rd, 1859.
Mm-hmm.
Slaveholder and absentee plantation owner Pierce Meese Butler authorized the sale of approximately 436 men, women, and children, and infants to be sold over the course of 2 days.
You see, because they don't care about nothing. They don't care. They're going to sell. It said 436 men, women, children, and infants to be sold over the course of 2 days. So you know what's going to happen, right? Any families, they're going to be split up. These people are never going to see their children again, and their children's never going to see them. Continue reading.
The sales proceeds went to satisfy Butler's significant debt, much from gambling.
You see, hold on. You see what you are to America? You're just some way to clear a damn debt. You got to go into slavery. Your daughter has to be ripped out of your hands and given to another people just because he can't stop gambling. Because he's a drunk gambler who has significant debt, and he has to pay it off some damn way. Continue reading.
The auction was considered the largest single sale of slaves in the U.S. history until the 2022 discovery of an even larger auction of 600 slaves in Charleston, South Carolina.
Uh-huh. Continue reading.
That's all I got out of one. Nothing else came up.
All right, I'm going to show y'all this picture. It says, for sale, long cotton and rice Negroes. Is it showing that? Yep, it's showing that picture. It says a gang of 460 Negroes. Because, see, that's what they look at you as. Still to this day, you're a gang. It says a gang of 460 Negroes. Why are we a gang? We are enslaved. We was sold into slavery, and you're calling us a gang, okay? It says accustomed to the culture of rice and provisions, among who are a number of good, I can't tell what this, good mechanics and house servants, will be sold on the 2nd and 3rd of March. Next at Savannah by Joseph Bryant. Term of sale, 1/3 cash, remainder by bond bearing interest from the day of sale. Payable with equal annual, it's hard to read that, installments to be secured by mortgage on the Negroes and approval personal security for approved city acceptance, Savannah or Charleston purchasers paying for papers. Okay. Owning you. Somebody get me Colossians 2:8.
Khan. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. Beware, lest any man spoil you.
You better beware, because these men will spoil you with their vain philosophies. That's why you're out here celebrating the 4th of July, okay? Because of being spoiled. Continue reading.
Khan, verse 8. Lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
You see, that's what we follow. We love to follow the traditions of men and the rudiments of this world, but not after Christ. Okay? Because if you were following after Christ, you will be doing what we're doing here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. You won't be observing these days. These days wouldn't have any meaning to you. You wouldn't have to celebrate it with irony. All right? Because you won't be celebrating it at all. You know what you'll be doing? You'll be following these laws, statutes, and commandments and attending to your feast days. and your customs and living after Christ, not after the traditions of men or the rudiments of this world. Continue.
Come, verse 9. For in him dwelleth all the fullness of Godhead bodily.
You see, for in him all the fullness of the Godhead bodily. So when you have that Godhead over you, you understand the things that you are supposed to be doing and the things that you are not supposed to be doing. That's why tonight I'm not going to get my thumb and three other fingers blown off from an M80 like Jason Pierre Paul. No, because I'm not going to partake in the traditions of men and the rudiments of this world, because I have a Godhead, okay, and I understand exactly what He wants me to do. Continue reading.
Come, verse 10. And ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power.
You see, He's the head of all principality and power. And following these laws, statutes, and commandments come with power, because it makes you wise and it takes you out of the danger. Okay. Tonight is a very dangerous night with all the partying that's going to be going on, all the drinking and driving, all the gun shooting, all the fireworks being blown up. Okay. It's not a safe day. You know how many houses are going to catch on fire because of some stupid holiday, because some silly tradition of men or some rudiment of this world? So we got to get out of that and come away from it. Yeah, let me see. Trooper Yaganan, you give me 1 Corinthians 10 and 20.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
You see, what they're doing tonight, they are sacrificing. They're not sacrificing to the Most High. They are sacrificing to devils. Okay, that's what your enemy and your oppressor. That's what they do. They're not sacrificing it to us. Okay, I mean, they're not sacrificing it to God. They are sacrificing it to devils. And what we need to do is not partake in it, to not have any fellowship with them. That means you don't go over there, you in the truth, and you don't celebrate, but you're gonna go over there, you're gonna get you a few pieces of chicken off the grill, okay? And you're not gonna pop the fireworks, but you're gonna shoot the 9mm. You're gonna shoot off the shotgun and the assault rifle. Okay? Don't have no dealings with it, no fellowship with it. Okay? Continue reading.
Verse 21. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
You cannot drink of the Lord's cup and partake of the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and the table of devils. You're going to have to choose. And Taza Yar, all right, it says, is our deliverance from oppression going to be like theirs? Are we going to be foul and cruel to them like they was and are? All right, they're going to get rewarded double their sin. But you know what they're not going to have to deal with? They're not going to have to deal with their women and children being raped and their men being raped. They're not going to have to deal with all the sick and disgusting thing that they do as a nation that we just can't stomach. You know, I'm not going in there and I'm not going to ever rape your babies or rape your woman or do any of that wicked nonsense. But their sin will be rewarded double because they were very horrible. So they're going to have to be put in a position to where they can never harm us again. Okay? Read that one more time. 1 Corinthians 10 and 21.
First Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
So you're going to have to choose. You can't sit with the Lord and with the devils. Okay, you're going to have to choose what cup you going to drink out of. Are you going to come in here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge? Are you going to drink from this cup? Or are you going to drink from the cup of Christianity, from the cup of America, from the cup of Islam, from the cup of chematology? Okay, you need to decide because you can't sit at both tables. All right, because it say how could two walk together unless they agree? Okay, continue reading.
Coming out of Makkah, verse 22. Do not provoke the Lord to jealousy. Are we stronger than he?
Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? Are we going to say this 4th of July is more important than the Most High? Are we going to provoke him to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? Are we greater than him? Can we do anything that he can? No. Continue reading.
Verse 23. All
Oh
things.
no, I don't need 23. Let me get one more real quick before I get back into another article. All right. John 7 and 38. Somebody get that for me.
Khan.
All right, hold on real quick. Hold on, let me. All right, go ahead. Go ahead and read.
Khan. This is the book of John, chapter 7, verse 38. He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Life. That's what we have, because we believe it on him as the scripture says. Okay. So out of our belly shall flow that living water. That's why we know this word. That's why we are out here showing our nation how they should conduct themselves, what they should be doing, what they should celebrate, what they shouldn't, because out of our bellies flows the living water. This is the living word of God. People always want to say, "Oh, that's just some old book." And that's why we follow it, because it is old and it still pertains to today, and it is the absolute truth. Okay, the absolute truth. Let's get. All right, no, I didn't need that one. All right, yeah, that's what I'm gonna need. Let me stop sharing. All right, go ahead and young man, give me that slavery in the United States. Because when all this was happening, they were signing their independence. That's what we were. We were slaves. Okay, we were under hard bondage. All right, and we need to make sure that we understand this, because we are out here celebrating their customs, their holidays, like it's righteous, when really it's wicked. Because look at the plights that we going through. Look at everything we gone through. Look at the other articles that got brought out. To just know that even when we try to become the fabric of the United States, even when we try to celebrate it to them, even when we try to use it to say, hey, we celebrate this just like y'all. We are one of y'all. They constantly let you know that you can never be one of them. Let's get it, Read.
Khan. Slavery in the United States. The legal institution of human chattel slavery, comprising the enslavement primarily of Africans and African Americans, was prevalent in the United States of America from its founding in 1776 until 1865, predominantly in the South. Slavery was established throughout European colonization in the Americas. From 1526, during early colonial days, it was practiced in what became Britain's colonies, including the 13 colonies that formed the United States. Under the law, an enslaved person was treated as property that could be bought, sold, or given away. Slavery lasted in about half of U.S. states until abolition. In the decades after the end of Reconstruction, many of slavery's economic and social functions were continued through segregation, sharecropping, and convict leasing.
You see, and we still have that today, because you can still do sharecropping and you can still do convict leasing, because if you go to prison, you are definitely a slave. All right, and you see it says primarily Americans and African Americans, or Africans and African Americans, because they know your enemy knows exactly who the hell was enslaved. Okay, and they put a difference right there with the Africans and African Americans, but they understand that it was Israelites who were brought into slavery. Continue reading.
Colonel Khan. By the time of the American Revolutionary War, 1775 through 1783, the status of enslaved people had been institutionalized as a racial caste associated with African ancestry. During and immediately following the Revolution, abolitionist laws were passed in most northern states, and a movement developed to abolish slavery. The role of slavery under the United States Constitution 1789 was the most continuous issue during its drafting. Although although the creators of the Constitution never used the word slavery, the final document, through the three-fifths clause, gave slave owners disproportionate political power by augmenting the congressional representation and electoral college votes of slaveholding.
Hold on. You see, that's why. And then and they still do that to this day. You know how they do that to this day? They do that with the prison system. They do that to collect the votes exactly like that. That's why they wanted to end slavery, because they didn't want you being able to use your damn slaves for votes. Okay, so you can win and overthrow. All right, but they do that today. You look at a place that got a lot of prisons. You think those inmates are voting? No, but you know who's taking their vote? One of those congressmen up there are taking their vote. Continue reading.
Colonel Khan. The Fugitive Slave Clause of the Constitution provided that if a slave escaped to another state, the other state had to return the slave to his or her master. This clause was implemented by the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793, passed by Congress. All northern states had abolished slavery in some way by 1805. Sometimes abolition was a gradual process. A few hundred people were enslaved in the northern states as late as the 1840 census. Some slave owners, primarily in the Upper South, freed their slaves, and the philanthropists and charitable groups bought and freed others. The Atlantic slave trade was outlawed by individual states beginning during the American Revolution. The import trade was banned by Congress in 1808, although smuggling was common thereafter.
You see, hold on. You see, that's what happened. So, yeah, they say that they abolished it, okay? But you know what? They're not going to stop. They're going to keep you enslaved for way longer than they say you would have been, okay? That's why they're going to keep smuggling you here. Yeah, the Atlantic slave trade, all right, it's outlawed. That's cool. We'll smuggle those niggas. Continue.
Colonel Khan. It has been estimated that about 30% of congressmen who were born before 1840 were at some time in their lives owners of slaves.
You see that? Owners of slaves. So all these damn congressmen, all right, that come out here today, their ancestors were your slave owners. Okay? And now they're out here getting your vote. They're out here telling you vote for them. And you do it because they're Democrat. Not knowing they had more slaves than a little bit. Continue reading.
Colonel Khan. The rapid expansion of the cotton industry in the Deep South after the invention of the cotton gin greatly increased demand for slave labor, and the southern states continued as slave societies. The United States became ever more polarized over the issue of slavery, split into slave and free states. Driven by labor demands from new cotton plantations in the Deep South, the Upper South sold more than 1 million slaves who were taken to the Deep South.
Good night. You know, you see that? They sold over 1 million slaves. Like, there were millions and millions and millions of slaves. And they want to make you think that slavery just wasn't some big deal, that you should forget about it. How the hell could you ever forget about that when it was millions of your people, millions of our ancestors ran through slavery, and they tell you to forget? Well, here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, we tell you to never forget. Continue reading, young man.
Colonel Khan. The total slave population in the South eventually reached 4 million. As the United States expanded, the southern states attempted to extend slavery into new western territories to allow pro-slavery forces to maintain their power in the country. The new territories.
You see, your slavery is all about their power. All the inhumane acts they do to you today is about their power and nothing more. That's how your enemy thinks. He thinks of power, of rulership. Well, we need to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments so we can understand what power and rulership means. Continue reading.
Khan. The new territories acquired by the Louisiana Purchase and the Mexican Cession were the subject of major political crises and compromises. By 1850, the newly rich cotton-growing South was threatening to secede from the Union, and tensions continued to rise. Bloody fighting broke out over slavery in the Kansas Territory. Slavery was defended in the South as a positive good.
You see how they look at slavery. You see how they look at your oppression as a positive good. Out of all the wicked things they was doing, however many lashes went across your back, however many times they ran up in our women's quarters and did horrible things to them. Every time they pulled a man out there and tied him to 2 horses, okay? They call that a positive good. All right? Continue reading.
Colonel Khan. And the largest religious denominations split over the slavery issue into regional organizations of the North and South. When Abraham Lincoln won the 1860 election on the platform of halting the expansion of slavery, 7 slave states seceded to form the Confederacy. Shortly afterward, on April 12, 1861, the Civil War began when Confederate forces attacked the U.S. Army's Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina. 4 additional slave states then joined the Confederacy after Lincoln, on April 15, called forth in response to militia of the several states in the Union, the aggregate number of 75,000 in order to suppress the rebellion. During the war, some jurisdictions abolished slavery, and due to Union measures, such as the Confiscation Acts and the Emancipation Proclamation, the war effectively ended slavery in most places. After the Union victory, the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified on December 6, 1865, prohibiting slavery and involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime.
You see, except as a punishment of crime. That's why if you go to prison, you can be a slave. And don't think Abraham Lincoln did what he did because he just loved you so damn much. Okay? He did it for political gain. He did it for a gain. It had absolutely nothing to do with you. Go ahead and read the origins, and then we'll go back and get some scriptures.
Colonel Khan, origins. First enslavements. In 1508, Juan Ponce de Leon established a Spanish settlement in Puerto Rico, which used native Tainos for labor.
And this is why you know the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under the command of General Yohana is the home of the truth, because they try to separate us. Our oppressor tries to separate so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. when we all have the same life. We all are the same people. We all have the same struggle, the same plights, and the same oppressors. Okay? Go ahead and continue reading.
Khan. The Tainos were largely exterminated by war, overwork, and diseases brought by the Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
In 1513, to supplement the dwindling Taino population, the first enslaved African people were imported to Puerto Rico. The abolition of Indian slavery in 1542 with the new laws increased the demand for African slaves. A century and a half later, the British conducted enslaving raids in what is now Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and possibly Alabama. The Charlestown slave trade, which included both trading and direct raids by colonists, was the largest among the British colonies in North America. Between 1670 and 1715, between 24,000 and 51,000 captive Native Americans were exported from South Carolina.
You see
More
that?
than the
You see,
number.
hold on. You see how they try to separate us? But you see, we're talking about these first enslavements. We're talking about how the transatlantic slave trade started. Okay, it started with the so-called Hispanic, the Taino Indians, and our Native American brothers and sisters. All right, continue reading.
Khan, more than the number of Africans imported to the colonies of the future United States during the same period. Additional enslaved Native Americans were exported from South Carolina to Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. The historian Alan Gallay says, quoting, "The trade in Indian slaves was at the center of the English Empire's development in the American South. The trade in Indian slaves was the most important factor affecting the South in the period 1670 to 1715. Intertribal wars to capture slaves destabilized English colonies, Spanish Florida, and French Louisiana."
Good night. Let me get some scriptures. Let's go back to the Bible. We get Trooper Yaganan, you get 2 Corinthians 6 and 15. And let me hold on, I'm gonna have to share my screen. Let me share my screen. All right, Triple Yaganan, you got it.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse 15. And what concord have Christ with Belial?
With Baal.
Baal. Or
Well,
what
yeah.
part?
But yeah, you're right. Go ahead, you got it.
Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?
Continue.
Verse 16. And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols?
Mm-hmm.
For ye are the temple of the living God.
For ye are the temple of the living God. And you celebrating today a holiday, putting pork in your belly and all kind of manner of nonsense. Continue.
As God has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people.
You see, and once we start following these laws, statutes, and commandments, once we start dwelling with the Most High, okay, He will be our God, and we will be His people. But you can't blow M80 up today. You can't be celebrating your oppressors' holidays. You can't be loving your enemy. Okay, continue reading.
Verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
If you want to be received by the Most High and Christ, you're going to have to come out from among them, from among this nation, from among their philosophies. You're going to have to be ye separate. You're going to have to be holy. All right? You know, and it says, and touch not any unclean thing, and I will receive you. To be received, you're not going to be able to touch the unclean thing. You're not going to be able to touch Thanksgiving. You're not going to be able to touch Christmas. You're not going to be able to touch the 4th of July. Okay? Continue.
Verse 18. And will be a father unto you,
Mm-hmm.
and ye shall be my sons and daughters,
And he
saith
will
the
be
Lord.
a father. Go ahead, finish it out.
Saith the Lord Almighty.
And see, he will be a father, and we will be his sons and daughters. We will be his children. Just like now, if your children go against you, okay, then they're going to have to get punished. They're going to have to serve out their punishment. But if they're doing what you say, well, they'll be good sons and good daughters, and you'll be a father to them. All right. You could drop that and give me 2 Corinthians 11:6.
Book of 1 Corinthians, I don't want a second.
Second.
Book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 6. But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge.
See, the Bible says, but I be rude in speech. When I'm telling you, you're an idiot for celebrating these holidays. You're an idiot for rolling under their customs. You're not supposed to be put that damn take the pig off your fork. Okay? When we're telling you that, we might be rude in speech, but not in knowledge. Okay? We're not rude in the knowledge. All right? I mean, we might be rude in speech, but yet not in knowledge. We understand this knowledge. All right? Continue reading.
But we have been thoroughly made manifest amongst you in all things.
You see, we are made thoroughly in the Most High. All right, in all things. That's why here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, we understand all these things. Okay. Hey, you gotta turn me down in the background. I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if you got another phone or something out there playing it.
For me, I don't want.
Yeah, I believe it's you. Yep.
It's probably his phone too close to the.
Yeah, the phone too close. That's all it is. Go ahead and give me Jeremiah 3. Hold on 1 second. Trooper Yaquab.
Sir.
Most High in Christ. I want you to give me Jeremiah 3 and 15.
Con. All right. I mean, do I share my screen?
No, you don't got to do nothing. Just read it.
Okay.
Yeah, just read.
All right. Just look at Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
You see, them pastors today in the earth is the men here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. We are the ones that are according to the Lord's heart, which shall feed the people, feed our people. All right, the knowledge and understanding that you should not be celebrating these holidays, that you should not be celebrating these customs. Okay, because if you celebrating these customs, then you are turning away from everything that is you. Okay, that is everything that is yours. Because if you celebrate the 4th of July, you're not going to be celebrating the customs of the Bible, because you don't understand that. You believe that these holidays are the holidays that the Lord gave you, because your Christian pastor never opens up the damn Bible and teaches you anything. Okay? So we shall feed you with the knowledge and the understanding. And that's what we need. As so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we need to be fed knowledge and understanding. The understanding of the truth. These laws, statutes, and commandments are customs to feed you so you understand not to follow the rudiments of men. So you know not to follow the traditions of men. Okay? Let me Trooper Yaquab, I'm gonna have you give me Galatians 4 and 8.
You said Galatians?
Yep, Galatians 4 and 8.
All right. All right. This is the book of Galatians, chapter 4, verse 8. Howbeit, then, when ye knew not God, ye did service them unto them which by nature are no gods.
Continue.
Verse 9. But now, after that ye have known God, or rather are known of God, how turn ye again to the weak or beggarly elements, whereunto ye desire again to be in bondage.
All right. So before when you didn't know the Most High, all right, before you didn't know the Most High, and what did you do? You did the things of the world, right? You celebrated all of your oppressors' customs. You celebrated the Halloweens and your birthdays, and you celebrated 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Okay, this is before you knew. All right, and then now after you have learned this truth, after you have came across these priests and prophets, why would you get weak and go back to those beggarly elements? Okay, it's like you desire to be into bondage. All right, you desire to be bound by these traditions of men, by the rudiments of the world. You rather be there than to pick up your cross and follow Christ, because what? Your grandma's gonna get mad at you that you're not eating her Christmas ham. Okay, you got to think about what you need to do, how you can be better for the kingdom. All right. You following your grandma and your Christian pastors and all that, that's not going to prepare you for the kingdom. Okay, that's going to prepare you to be unalived. All right, continue reading. Trooper Yaakov, continue reading.
Oh, Salaki, my mic was muted.
Yep, you got it.
Right. Verse 10. Ye observe days.
Ye what?
And months. Ye
observe days. You observe days. You observe the 4th. You observe the 14th. Okay, you observe the 25th. You observe the last Thursday in November. You observe that. Continue.
In months.
In months. Hold on, Salaki. And months. And those months. Oh, July. You observe July. Because you gotta be out there on the 4th. Oh, you observe November. You observe October. You observe these months. You observe January. You observe that February 14th. You better observe that February. You know, where if you don't get your mama and your girl a damn bear and some chocolates, then you in trouble for the whole year. And why the hell you got to get your mama chocolates? Don't she got her own damn man? She need to get her own damn man. Why I have to get her chocolates? Okay. But see, that's because we observe these days and these months. All right. You know what we need? We need to start observing the Lord's days. If you observe these laws, statutes, and commandments, if you come and observe Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge class, then you will understand what days you should observe, what months matter. But you don't know that. We don't know that. Why? Because of our oppressor. Because we have been slaves for so long. Because we have been at the bottom and downtrodden for so long. Read that again from the top, Trooper Yaquab.
Con. This is verse 10. Ye observe days and months and times and years.
And years. That's what we do. We observe it. We what are we observing today? What is most of our people observing today? We are observing the 4th of July. And you know what makes you just stand so proud for most of us as an American today? Because you served in this oppressor's army. You served in this military, so you feel like you're one of them. Everybody in my family that was on the military, they put some military thing in the 4th of July behind it because they feel that was honorable. They feel like they did a service for this. They feel like they're a part of the fabric of America, the fabric of the United States. But they are not. Okay? They are not at all. All right, let me see if I want this in the time. No, I ain't gonna get that. So yeah, we observe these days and these times and these months. We observe their holidays. We observe their customs. We do whatever the hell they tell us to do. Okay? Because we believe on them instead of believing on Christ, instead of believing on these law, statutes, and commandments. Young man, I want you to get me John 17. Yeah, I'll get this real quick. John 17 and 14.
Khan. This is the book of John 17, verse 14. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world.
You see, Christ wasn't of the world, okay? And he was hated for it. Just like the brothers and sisters here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, you are hated because you won't bow down and celebrate their customs, because you won't live the way they want you to live, because you won't believe the way they want you to believe. They want you to believe that this is Independence Day. This is Independence Day for every American. When you are not free, when you have never been freed, when you have been in slavery and entrapped in their ways and their philosophies since you got here. And why is that? Because it was beaten into you. That's the reason why we celebrate these holidays, because it was beaten into us. We didn't get a damn choice. All right. It was beaten into us to want to be like them. And since we want to be like them, we are suffering under them because they don't want no doings with us. They just want us because we are excellent slaves. And that's exactly how they feel. Okay. Yaganan, Trooper Yaganan, I want you to give me 1 John 2 and 15. You got it.
Book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
When you love 4th of July just so much, you love Christmas just so much, you love Thanksgiving just so much, you love damn BET and Love and Hip Hop and Housewives and just so damn much. You really love oppression. You love their ways. You love their drugs just so much. All right, you love their way so much. You think they are so high, okay, because they are ruling the earth. But it says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, then the love of the Father is not in him." Because there is no way you can love what the Lord goes against. Go ahead.
Colonel Khan, sir. If I could, can I get a quick precept?
Go ahead.
Colonel Khan, this is the book of John, chapter 3, verse 16.
Hold on. Let me get there. Go ahead.
Colonel Khan, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that
Mm-hmm.
whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
Yeah,
Colonel
for
Khan,
God. Go ahead.
I just wanted to bring that out, you know what I'm saying, because in First John, it said that he did not love the world. So
Right.
obviously the definition of world in John 3:16, in the previous verse we just said, I believe it was First John, Saki, I
2
think it
and
was first
15.
2 and 15, it's not the same definition, just like it's not the same definition of the word world.
Exactly. And that's what your Christian pastor don't understand. Because right here it says, "For God so loved the world," and then over there it's saying God, it's saying not to love the world, and that's because we need to know when the Bible is talking about world, it is talking about age or society. It's not talking about every. It's not talking about the earth. How do we know that? Precept.
Come, I got a few of them.
All right. Well, I want the one in Isaiah. Do you got that one?
Come.
Go ahead. Read that. Hold on. Which? Hold on. I'm a verse ahead. Oh no, that's not the one I want. That is
Isaiah 45 and 17.
no, that's not the one I want. I want
Hebrews 11 and 3.
which one? Yes,
Hebrews
I
11
believe
and 3.
that's it. Yeah, hold on. Let me go to Hebrews. I think that's it. I think that's the one I want. They all good ones. Oh, good night. They all good ones. This is exactly the one I want. Go ahead.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 3.
Uh
Through
huh.
faith, we understand that the worlds were
That the
framed by
what?
the word of God. That the worlds were
Uh
framed
huh.
by God.
You
So
see?
that things,
You see though. You, go ahead. Finish it out.
come. So that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear.
You see? That's why he had to say. He had to let you know that the earth and the worlds. Okay. I mean, Salaki, that the worlds. Hold on, I'm looking for something, Salaki. Yeah. So right there, through faith, we understand that the worlds, because you have different worlds. You have the sports world. You have the sea world. You have the alternative lifestyle world. Okay. So we got to understand exactly what the hell's going on. It's not just when he says the world, he's talking about specific things. All right. Specific people. Bear with me just one quick second. Y'all bear with me one quick second, y'all. Just one quick second. All right, let me see. That's what I want. Psalms 90 and 2. Let's get that as well.
Khan. This is the book
That's
of
what
Psalms.
the hell I was looking for. Hold on one second. Let me get there with you so the people following along can see. That's the one. Go ahead.
Khan, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 90, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hast formed the earth and the world.
You see, so that lets you know there's a distinction between the earth and the world, okay, in the Bible. All right. And we have to understand that, because if not, then we're going to think that when it says, for God so loved the world, it's talking about everybody on the earth. Or when it says, love not the world, it's talking about everybody on the earth. Okay. The world is separate, and it means age or society. Okay. Now let's go back to First John. Trooper Yaquab, you give me First John 2 and 3. And hold on one second. 2 and 3. Trooper Yaganan, you hold John 8 and 44. And young man, Elijah, you hold Colossians 2 and 21. All right.
Khan.
All right, go ahead, Trooper Yaquab. You got it.
Khan. This is the book of First John, chapter 2, verse 3. And hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments.
That's the only way you can know Christ, is if you keep his commandments. See, Christians swear that they know Christ. They think Jesus is in their church every Sunday. They swear that Jesus is in their church. All right, but they keep not the commandments, and they think that they know them. They think they know Christ. All right, continue reading.
Verse 4. He said he that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him.
How can anybody outside of these walls know him when they don't keep the commandments? They don't keep his commandments. And it says the only way to know him is to keep his commandments. All right? Continue reading.
Verse 5. But whoso keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected. Hereby we know, hereby know we that we are in him.
That's how you be perfect. That's how you be perfect, by keeping his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. And if you do that, then he understands that you know him, because you know what he requires from you. Okay? How can you know something? How can you know someone if you don't know what they require of you? All right? Trooper Yaganan, John 8 and 44. Hold on, you probably muted. Hold on. You was muted. Go ahead.
Book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil.
Ye are what?
Ye are of your father, the devil.
So ye are of your father, the devil. If you not of the Most High, if you don't got the spirit of the Most High, then you got the spirit of your oppressor on you. You got his spirit. You got his ways, his mannerisms. All right, continue.
And the lust of your father ye will do.
In the lust of your father ye will do. You will celebrate his holidays and not your own. You will celebrate his customs and not your own. You will believe on him, okay, and not your own. You won't believe the Most High. You'll believe that that it's right to celebrate these holidays. Continue.
He was a murderer from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and abode not in the truth,
And abode not in the truth. He doesn't abide in the truth. He doesn't live there. He doesn't dwell in the truth. All right, continue.
because there is no truth in him.
Mm-hmm.
When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own,
Uh-huh.
for he is a liar and the father of it.
He's a liar, and he's a father of those lies. Ever since in the back when he was called a snake in the garden, now he's a great dragon, and his lies they just take you every damn where. His lies take you all through this hell, while you're thinking you're a part of the fabric of the United States, and you so patriotic, and you're gonna pop those fireworks tonight. You're gonna eat that barbecue, and you're gonna think that I have a good life. I'm a free man. Not understanding that your oppressor will never let you be free. All right. He always will have his foot on your neck. All right. Young man, you can give me what I had you hold. Colossians 2:21.
The Khan Khan, this is the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 21. Touch not, taste not, handle not. Verse 22. Which
So hold on. This is talking about the customs of your oppressors. Don't touch not, taste not, handle not. Don't partake in the cup of devils. All right? Don't have any doing or dealing with them. Continue reading.
Khan, which are all to perish. Which all are to perish with the using, after the commandments and doctrines of men.
You see, if you're not following the commandments of the Most High, then you are following the doctrine and the commandments of men. And that's why you celebrate 4th of July. That's why you're happy to celebrate it right now. That's why I hear fireworks in the background going off like crazy right now. And there ain't nothing but blacks and Hispanics by me. Okay? Well, I don't want to say that. There is some oppressors around. But you know who's going to be really cracking those off? So-called blacks and Hispanics. So we can feel patriotic. So we can feel a part of something. So maybe for one night we don't feel like we're at the bottom of America. So we can feel like we're a part of the fabric of the United States. I pray you understand. Somebody give me... Actually, Trooper Yaquab, you give me Matthew 24:4. Hold on. What's up? There was some more on that?
Live, sir. I just wanted to say, just piggyback on what you were saying. In the UPK, we are of the fabric of Christ.
Damn right. You're damn right. And that's what you got to be. You better be the fabric of Christ, because if not, you're going to want to be the fabric of the United States. And you will be placed on the bottom. And you will have a horrible life trying to become a part of them, instead of just becoming a part of your own nation. Wouldn't that be glorious, just as if you could be a part of your own nation, of your own customs? That's what we need. And that's why we got these men in here that stand to become a part of Christ's fabric, not of the fabric of the United States. To become a part of Christ's traditions, the rudiments of Christ, and not the traditions of men. Go ahead and read that, Trooper Yaquab.
Khan. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
That's what we have to do. We have to take heed so no man can deceive you. Because if you don't take heed to what the scriptures are saying, if you don't take heed to what the priests and prophets are telling you, then you're going to be easily deceived. because we believe and we trust in our enemy so much. We put our enemy at such a high value. And in doing that, we don't take heed to the Most High. We take heed to a man that will deceive us. Okay. Trooper Yaquab, get me second. Yeah, Second Thessalonians 2 and 3.
Come on. It's the book of Second Thessalonians,
Mm-hmm.
chapter 2, verse 3.
Yep.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
See, we need that man of sin. That's what it's talking about. It ain't talking about some spooky creature coming down. It says, "Let no man deceive you." That's what we talking about, being deceived. Okay. It say, "For that day shall not come, except there be a falling away first." What has to fall away? His empire. And when it starts to fall away and his skirt get lifted up, that man of sin, he's going to be revealed, and that son of perdition. Continue reading.
It's like verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, sheweth himself that he is God.
You see, and that's what he does. He exalts himself. That's why he puts himself up on the stars with his NASA space program. He puts himself above everybody on the earth. Okay, he is so raised up and puffed up. Okay, that he sits and then he sits in your temples, showing himself to be God. That's why he painted all the images to make them look like him. Continue reading.
Come. Verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
Continue.
Verse 6. And now ye know that withholdeth, so like it, what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. Verse
Continue.
7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way.
Continue.
Verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed.
And shall what?
That wicked be revealed.
And see, that's what needs to happen. That wicked needs to be revealed. Because until then, we so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are going to follow this wicked beast. Okay, we're going to follow him and praise him because we believe that he is closer to God because he is ruling the earth. Continue.
Come. Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Continue.
Verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
And see that's what we have to deal with our oppressor. And this is what we have to understand. Okay, that all his workings is of Satan. All right, and with all the power and signs, and he's just a liar because he is the father of lies. Continue reading.
Con. It's like, all right, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
With all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
You see, and that's why so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that's why we are destroyed. And Christianity makes you believe that you are already saved because you went in the back and said some prayer. Okay, but it says, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth. You see, this love of the truth, it will have you following the law, statutes, and commandments. It would have you in line with God. And that's the only way that you're going to be saved. He who hath endured to the end, the same shall be saved. Continue.
Come. Verse 11. And for this cause, God shall send them the strong delusion that they should believe a lie.
Yeah, and right now, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are delusional because we believe the lie of our oppressor. And we have a very strong delusion that he knows what's right for us, that he's doing the best for us, better than we could do for ourselves. Continue.
Come. Verse 12. That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
And that's what we need. We need to stop taking pleasures in these unrighteousness because we believe not on the truth. You believe when these brothers tell you that we shouldn't be celebrating the 4th of July, you believe that we're wrong for saying that. It's because we have pleasures in the unrighteousness. Any questions?
Sir.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I said sir.
Oh, okay. Most High in Christ. Trooper Yaganan, can you get the security announcements?
Come. RCPK security announcements. Well, the RCPK started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for a new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to marry Shalakia to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara. 10% of any penny, of any increase the Lord gives you, gives to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations out of one.
The upcoming holy convocation is going to be the memorial of blowing of trumpets. It's the first day of the 7th month, Friday, the 15th of September, 2023. We find this in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 24 and 25.
If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headscarf, headband. That's it for the
all right, okay, we're going to a magium, which means to stand, and we're going to say a courtesy salute to the teacher. All right, men of Israel, Majim Shabbat, Magium, Barak. All right, Yajamatah, we're going to Sar, turn, face the sisters. Sisters rise, men of Israel, Majim Shabbat, Magium, Barak, Yahweh Shabbat. All right, Yajamatah. All right, let's Sar, we're going to face the east, and we're going to get the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Bashamayim. Badash. Yah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakwaka. Baba'ah. Ratazayaka. Ayah. Aisha. Barataza,
Barakaza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Aya,
Aya,
Bashamayim,
Mashmai,
Tan Lanawa,
Lana,
Lakal,
Call,
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 Yawam,
Yawan,
Wasalaki now,
Wasalaki now,
Kabawati now,
Abawaki now,
Kasalaki now,
Kasalaki now,
Kabawati now,
Abawaki now,
Malaa,
Alaha,
Tabayanawa,
Tabawaina,
Banasayawan,
Manasawan,
Abal,
Ball,
Yahawashana, Slakia, Yahawashanawa,
Yahawasai,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai,
Rai,
Kayalaka,
Kayalaka,
Malakwa,
Lakwa,
Hawa, Yahamalakwa, Slakia, Wahala,
Rala,
Wahatapa Raf,
Rala,
Lawalayim,
Rala,
Amen. Now in the English, our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name,
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh.
Yahweh,
Thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom,
thy will be done
thy will be done,
in earth as it is in heaven.
and earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
forgive our debtors,
And lead us not into temptation,
and lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Yajamatah, class dismissed. Clap it up.